right, what up? This is Jared.
What up, it's Keels.
And we're back at it again with another episode of Bikini Bottom Banter. I'm excited for this one.
Got a good one.
Yo. So, before we record, I think, you know what? Because at some point we're going to hit like our top 5 episodes of the season.
Yes.
This is definitely a contender for number 1. It's up there. It for sure makes my top 10 episodes of Spongebob, but at least for me, like when we go down the best in the season, yeah, this is on there. So
you're talking about episodes as in both segments?
Both segments.
Okay.
both were solid.
Okay.
It's just, yeah, Arrgh and Rock Bottom.
Yeah.
So Arrgh. So the Krusty Krab.
A classic.
Yeah. I'm telling you. So the Krusty Krab is dead. Probably because the episode before was Suds, and it's like, I can't have people sneezing all over me food. So the word of mouth spread. That's my tinfoil hat theory. So Mr. Krabs is freaking out because it's like, well, where is everybody?
Yeah.
So Patrick and SpongeBob, since there's no customers, they're playing the Flying Dutchman game. Mr. Krabs takes a liking to it and gets addicted to it, and then realizes, I can just take this and make it a real treasure adventure.
First I gotta pause.
All right.
So now that you said because I was about to ask what game were they playing, but I forgot it's the Flying Dutchman game.
It's the actual Flying Dutchman game.
Who is this guy to Bikini Bottom?
The Flying Dutchman?
It's I know we've seen him before, but it's how big is the legend? He got games and stuff.
Big enough to have a copyrighted game. He literally has a game. You can go to the store and buy it.
Literally. If people know what the legend is and stuff, that's crazy.
That's why I said, the Flying Dutchman legit, they need a better backstory for him. Go back to our Halloween episode and listen to that, because we have, our theories for what it could be. But, yeah, the Flying Dutchman he's a part of Bikini Bottom, too. He's one of those characters where, even in the newer series, the Camp Coral series, he's in there, too.
Oh, I'm not going to watch Camp Coral.
Look, I watched it with my daughter, but, he's in there. He has a presence in that, too, and I'm like, wow.
As a ghost?
As a ghost.
As an adult?
Yes, an adult ghost. It's crazy.
All right.
Just maybe you might want to check that out. But anyway, so it eventually leads to SpongeBob, Patrick, and Mr. Krabs going on a treasure adventure where all hijinks occur. I'm going to say it, you get the best jokes in this.
Yes.
We're just going to go into it.
Yeah.
So, me and Keels all the time for years now. How long?
You gotta tell them the episode.
Well, the scene?
You gotta tell them the synopsis of the episode.
Oh, I just did.
Not the whole thing.
All right. Well, I don't want to spoil the ending.
All right.
I don't want to spoil the ending because the ending is a part of the best jokes too.
Okay.
I was just going to get into the fact that when we go... So me and Keels have been friends for years, over a decade at this point. But the one thing that East? I thought you said Beast. I'm like, yo, that joke.
That joke comes out a lot from us.
Back and forth. What kind of compass are you reading, lad? This one, sir. That's West, Patrick. You're fired again.
I thought you said
Weast.
Yeah, that's genius writing.
Oh my gosh. That is prime.
That's genius.
That is
writing.
prime writing right there. So... I will say, all right, so we'll get into jokes. I'll let you go first. I don't want to take over. Go ahead.
Oh, well, first and foremost.
And we'll just bounce off.
Oh, I got 2 favorite jokes, too. But
What are your, it's hard. What are your 2
go
favorites?
From least to funniest.
Okay, go ahead.
So the first one, when this is Mr. Krabs takes the game super seriously. And so he pops up to SpongeBob's house with a big pirate ship. And he's like, you explained what the game was, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's literally you're finding treasure.
Yeah,
That's it.
finding Dutchman's treasure. So because he took it so serious, he comes with a pirate ship. He's like, "Hey, come on my ship. We're going to find the real treasure."
Yeah.
And of course, that's right up SpongeBob and Patrick's alley. So, so Mr. Krabs has like this crate of like pirate stuff. They pull it out and they're like, "Wow, peg legs and eye patches."
Jeez.
And then, Patrick, he's like, he puts on both.
Both eye patches.
So SpongeBob first, he put on both peg legs, and he's like, "Oh, I'm Peggy the pirate," and he falls over
on his face.
But Patrick put on both of the blindfolds or the eye patches. Bro, he said, "I'm Blindbeard the pirate," and he fell. Yeah. I don't know why it was so funny, but it was so funny because why would you put on both eye patches?
Yo.
Why?
Patrick over here, I'm telling you.
And then, of course, the Krusty Krab is completely empty. And so, what's it called? SpongeBob was like, "Yeah, I mean, we don't have any customers, so we're just here playing the game." And so they get Mr. Krabs to play, and then he's like, "Oh man," he's basically like, "Oh, I love this game. I can play this all day." And then finally, somebody walks in. Fred walks in. Walks in, and then see this right here can.
You want me to do the voice?
Yeah, this could be the
rev up those fryers, because I'm sure hungry for help. My leg. Yo.
Bro, that could be the meme-worthy. That's the joke.
He was hype. He
was ready to eat.
He came with a big smile. He's like, "Rev up those fryers." Hit the doors and rev up those fryers. Because I'm sure hungry for Mr. Krabs picked them up. My leg, can't you see we're closed?
He was ready to eat.
Yo.
He closed up shop. Wow.
That's how you know it's Mr. Krabs denied payment. He denied payment.
Mr. Krabs. He was like, "The balloons, they're mine. They're mine."
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that was hilarious. And he hopped on the game.
And the pettiness of Mr. Krabs, because even in that scene,
extreme pettiness.
I put this, like, he literally, like, Patrick had to make a decision for who he sends back to places in the game. And, Patrick chooses Mr. Krabs to go back. It's like, "It's off to jail for you, Mr. Krabs. Patrick, you're fired. But I don't even work here." This man gave Patrick a job with the hat. "You want a job? Start now." "Why would I?" "You're fired."
That was so bad.
Grimy. This man was probably planning his whole future with that hat. He's like, "I made it. Yeah,
I finally got a
job. I'm gonna call my mom." "You're fired."
Oh my
No.
God. Why would he give him joy and then take it away? Like, that's crazy.
That's one of the pettiness. Like, it's just, all right.
Bro, when they found out that the treasure map was just a map from the game.
Board game taped. They had the tape on it too. Like, it's just, "Patrick, you notice something?" "Yeah."
Bro.
Like, it's just our game board taped onto a piece of paper.
That made me fall out. Even as a kid, I was like,
Yo.
"This guy's insane."
He creeped up from behind you. He's like, "Do you think this is a problem?" Like,
yeah, there's no real treasure.
but it's creepy. Like, they're by themselves in the room. He pops out of nowhere. "You think this is a problem?"
Because they was playing. They was talking about all that loyalty, and then they looked at the treasure map.
Yup.
Now listen, I'm not a pirate, but I know for a fact, one, you don't go to the captain's quarters. Two, you don't be touching the treasure map and all that stuff, and you for sure don't open it. And you for sure don't read it.
Yup.
That's none of your business. That's the captain's business, and that's it.
You just trust your captain. That's why pirates don't exist today.
They did.
Exactly. We trusted Blackbeard till the end. He led us down a cliff. Imagine being a ghost. It's like, "I died because I trusted you to the end."
That's crazy.
Yo.
That's crazy.
So there's iconic jokes.
Definitely iconic.
There's like clever writing in this that went over my head as a kid, but I'm like, wow. Like when they crash the ship into a thing of rocks, and then SpongeBob is like, the whole ship is underwater, and I'm like, wow, because they're in Bikini Bottom. Okay, I get it. We're marooned. But then you have like, oh my gosh, the ending. It's so clever. Like, so they eventually find the treasure, like SpongeBob and Patrick dig it. And then, you know, SpongeBob and Patrick, being the people that they are, they're like, what are you going to do with your half? I'm going to do this. Mr. Krabs immediately clicks. He's like, what do you mean your half? This is all mine.
Crazy.
The Flying Dutchman hears it from above.
Back they was arguing.
And it's, you know, and the griminess of Mr. Krabs when the Flying Dutchman comes in, like, he's like, oh, who dug up my treasure? Mr. Krabs threw it. They did. Like, yo.
Right on it. It was them.
It was them. They did it. So then he gives them 2 doubloons.
They're like, oh, thanks. You
the
found my
Dutchman's treasure.
2 doubloons.
2 gold doubloons. Like, I can't do the squeaky voice anymore, but still. But when he gives it to him, Mr. Krabs like, hey, where's my half? Oh, that's right. Here's something for your troubles. A fake plastic, like, treasure. Plastic! But it's based on a real treasure chest.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm like, wow. There's disgusting jokes in this, too. Like,
what you mean disgusting?
So there were 2. There's one when they're in the beginning where Mr. Krabs is like, oh, did you do all the chores before you, like, why are you playing games? It's like, oh, well, did you scrape all the gum from the underside? And it's like the underside is all shiny. Cuts to Patrick and SpongeBob chewing gum. I already took care of that. I'm like,
this is disgusting.
But then there's another one where, like, Patrick and SpongeBob are sleeping outside so they can give the quarters to Mr. Krabs.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, oh, I'm so loyal that we're doing this. And Patrick's like, I'm so loyal, I haven't bathed in weeks. It's like, Patrick, we've only been out here for like a few hours. He's like, I know. And SpongeBob just slides away from him like wow. Like, there's joke after joke in this.
This right here is what I need. This woke me up for sure.
Especially after that sleep. Oh my gosh. The last episode,
that was super funny. This episode was so funny.
It's gold. That's why I put it up there. Like, it's just, it's hard.
I forgot about Arrgh. Arrgh was gold.
No, Arrgh, that's where the quote came. The East, I thought you said, when I saw that, I said, it's about to be lit.
But you gotta remember, so we've been saying these sayings for years.
Yeah.
So it's like, now I just know the saying. I don't even know
what episode it comes from.
What episode it came from. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So
now
this was such a great episode.
So what do you think is your
They found out it was fake.
Oh yeah, grimy.
That's one of my favorite parts of the episode.
So what would be your meme-worthy moment? Is it the Fred?
If it's not gonna be the Fred, then it's gotta be the East. I thought you said Weast. It's gotta be. It's either or.
I think. See, is there any other one that I can think of that's better than that one? I'm trying to think.
No. Besides those 2, I don't see
any. Yeah. I think I'm gonna give it to the Fred joke.
Okay.
The Fred joke, hands down, meme worthy. Like, it's just.
Now why? Now why over Weast? Because that saying is like SpongeBob 101.
I think it's because that scene is so iconic. Like, when people, if you go to YouTube right now.
Oh yeah, rev up. All you gotta do is type in rev up those fryers.
Rev up those fryers, and it pops up. Or Fred's best moments.
And I'm sure it's millions and millions of views.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, Fred has made appearances before in previous episodes. We've actually talked about him on previous episodes. Mm-hmm. But this is the first one where, for some reason, it hit. Like, it was just like, wow, leg stuck.
Because that was like a scene that he had, like a speaking scene he had on his own.
And it wasn't like background-wise where it's like, Oh, my leg. Because, like, take the episode with Mrs. Puff. Like, you definitely hear, like, my leg.
Yeah, but you don't see him.
But you don't see him. But this was the first, like, oh, this is the my leg dude. And that's why I kind of give it to the edge to that. I'm saving the East West, like, that's my joke. Like,
that's a funny joke. You do say that when I lie.
I'm telling you. I thought you said West.
Yo, I got a question.
All right.
So with Fred, did they ever like confirm his name on TV, or
they did?
Was it something that we found on the internet?
No. So there is a SpongeBob wiki page out there.
Yeah.
But they actually gave Fred. I don't know if you knew about this. My wife was the one who brought it up to me, and this was before we were even married. This is when we were dating. She was like, there's an episode of SpongeBob where they gave Fred an episode. And I'm like, what? But
is it later or is it...
It's later.
See, but then it don't count.
No, it does, because he had a whole character. You know, here's the example. Like, they knew...
How much later? Because if it was something that came out like 5 years ago, I knew his name was Fred from the internet.
Well, people knew it was Fred, but like... They made fun of his one recurring joke, the my leg. So literally the episode is called like my leg. So
when did the episode come out?
Let's check it out actually. I'm gonna take a guess while searching that it had to have been 2017, if not 2018.
That's mad late. That's mad late. Because this is what I'm saying. Because I'm saying like. They never said his name on TV, did they?
2018.
Oh wow, that's like
2018. I was right. 2018. All right.
Super late.
I said if it's not 2017, it's 2018. Yeah. All right. Cool. But yeah, but they gave him a whole dedicated episode. Like he had a fan base. He had like a whole wiki page on him. Yeah, but like that was like the first like okay like. We know you've had injuries throughout the years. Like it was always that background voice, but that kind of cemented you are the my leg person.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why I give it meme worthy, because it's like, no, like before that it was background character my leg. This was the first like he's the dude.
Yeah. Wrap up those fires because I'm hungry for it.
Help! My leg!
Help! Yeah,
I can't that scene.
You have any other favorite jokes? I like
oh yeah, he's trying to say land. Oh man, another funny joke. I know, like, obviously, like, the whole, like, Mr. Krabs going crazy with, like, the game and SpongeBob. Whenever he freaks out at Mr. Krabs, I love it. Because it's just like, please stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, he said, Mr. Krabs, I want to go to bed. Like, he screamed at his boss's face. I was like, yes. Like, he just wanted to go to sleep. Keep in mind that if they're playing this game probably around lunch rush, because that's when Mr. Krabs was looking... It was dark out. Yeah. So, I'm going to...
It was late. He had him there late.
Patrick was asleep. Like, it was just
SpongeBob had to pick up Patrick, drop him off home and stuff.
Yeah, it was a good, 10 to 12 hours. So, I'm just like, that was, a little joke. But I think the subtlety joke, where it's just, little things like that, them playing make-pretend pirates, the fact that they have, little things like... You know, the little in-jokes, where it's just a pirate talk.
Yeah.
It just flowed together so perfectly.
Great episode.
And then...
Wait, what would you change?
Nothing. This thing is gold.
I wouldn't change a thing.
Nothing. The only thing is that I wish I could watch it on repeat. I'm in love with this episode. This is I can't think of anything I would change. Perfect.
Yeah. It made me ask, once again, what was Mr. Krabs' life before he had the restaurant? Even though it did show him he had the restaurant for a super long time, but then it just made me so was he a pirate in his past life?
No.
You know what I mean?
So
he was in the Navy?
He was in the Navy and he fought in World War II according to his license, his driver's license.
He fought in World War II?
If you look at his driver's license, he fought in World War II. I was like, wow, okay.
What?
In the dream episode, I paused it. I was like, they have his date of birth. Hold on. And according to the Krusty Krab training episode, which to date, we're going to go through this, but to date is my favorite SpongeBob episode. When he had the Mr. Krab, like they actually talk about his backstory in that. Mm-hmm. The Krusty Krab was a retirement home, and then it became a restaurant.
How old is this guy?
Exactly. And he has a teenage daughter, so add 16 years to whatever. So,
what?
Yeah. When we get to the Krusty Krab training episode, like, you'll see it. Like, right. they do Mr. Krabs' backstory, like, briefly. Like, it's like, after the war, he went into a depression. But then he got a retirement home. And then it went from the Rusty Krab to, he literally painted a K on there. Cheap man. Anyway. Anything else before we move on to another classic?
Let's get to it now.
We already, listen.
Now.
Rock Bottom. This episode is another classic.
This is like
1-2
top
hit.
3 SpongeBob episodes.
I agree.
This is what we were talking about, like within what was it, the third episode, or the second, maybe the third episode. If you're showing somebody SpongeBob, this is for sure one of the episodes you show them.
Yep, 100%.
This is for sure one of the episodes you show them.
So the episode starts off with Patrick and SpongeBob coming back from Glove World, which is an amusement park. It also seems like it's a bad amusement park according to the candy that they sell and their cheap electronics, but we'll get into that. But they go onto the wrong bus because Patrick was not paying attention. And they inevitably get left in Rock Bottom. Patrick, I'm telling you, this is, when I think about like the griminess of Patrick and why he's a terrible friend, this scene comes to mind.
Well, first you gotta tell them what Rock Bottom is.
Rock Bottom is this... Bikini Bottom is like the livelihood. Rock Bottom is like the abyss of the ocean, completely dark. Anglerfish like running around, weird eels like.
God knows what's down there. So they basically go down to the actual abysmal zone of the ocean.
Yep.
That's basically what it is. They went down like
flights super far. But you know what? I thought about it. If you ever want to know what Arrgh monsters and SpongeBob would look like if you combine the two theories, there you go.
If you ever listen to this, hopefully you're old enough to even know.
For real.
What just said.
I was going to say, if you want to know what Arrgh monsters looks like under the sea, Rock Bottom. Because there's some weird creature designs in here that you never would see like in SpongeBob. Like these are like...
That's something I wrote down.
Yup, the studio would legit like, you can't have this. Too scary. But you have creatures, even, like, I still think... All right, we'll talk about the creatures first, because we have to establish the scenery for why this place is so dark.
Okay.
There's this one fish. Like, there's multiple fishes that have, like, only one eye, which is, like, okay, it's a Cyclops eye, whatever. But there's some where they're just, like, grotesque. Like, they're sweating.
Have you seen
the boils?
But have you seen, like, the real fishes that...
Oh, yeah, that they're based off.
That come from like, well, not that they're based off, but just
the anglerfish is
like
deep down there. It's weird,
and those fish are crazy. All of them, not just the anglerfish. There's like a football fish that looks like, honestly, it looks like the devil. It really looks like prehistoric fish that never evolved.
See, and it makes sense too. I commend Steven Hellenberg for doing that because
it makes a lot of sense.
It does make sense for it to be like, okay, in the deep depths of Bikini Bottom, you have these fish. There's like this really weird fish where like he's like 329 in line. He chokes up an egg, and like 3 little hims hatch out. I'm like,
but what about the ones before that? They were like.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know.
ugly.
That's what I said. What were those creatures in the bus station?
There was one where it had like these spiky gills on its head and just
What they were making weird noises. I don't even think they talked.
Nah, the breathing. And the thing that everybody... I'll try my best not to spit in the mic. But if you're in rock bottom, you know to talk like that.
That's gotta be like... That might be a meme-worthy moment. Just the way that they talk down there.
I think that, you know what, this was honestly annoying in like school growing up with SpongeBob because people would do that all the time. It's like for years. Like talk like that. Like, I'm like, okay. You from rock bottom?
We were really doing that. That's funny.
Yo, imagine somebody putting that as like what languages do you speak? It's like Spanish, Italian. I speak rock bottom.
Hilarious.
I'm putting it on my license officially. I speak funny. Rock bottom. Yeah, so just imagine this very dark atmospheric setting and probably
it's basically Bikini Bottom at night, but it's always...
I wouldn't even give a Bikini Bottom in it because there's freaking mist. There's mist like all over. Like this place never sees daylight.
That's crazy.
It never sees daylight. You imagine waking up and it's like 5. Not even daylight savings. It's early in the morning. You're like, ugh. Well, off to work when it's pitch black dark.
Yeah, it's 4 a.m.
Now, and before we get into like the real synopsis nitty gritty of it, my wife was the one who mentioned this too, and I was like, that is a great theory. Is it called rock bottom, and why SpongeBob was kind of failing at everything because it is literally like life hitting rock bottom. Mm-hmm. So like these are where the rejects of like the undersea go. Dang. And I'm like, wow. I see it.
That was a good take that she had.
I agree. Like I'm like, yeah, and it makes sense because if there's like a parallel loop where like you just never succeed in everything, that's why SpongeBob was failing. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what was he failing at? So one, his best friend just left him. Hey, SpongeBob, the bus is here. The grimiest Patrick move ever.
Yeah.
But the bulk of the episode and the synopsis is SpongeBob just trying to get home to Bikini Bottom and his failed attempts at doing so. He misses so many buses and like, there's like, this bus driver should be like fired. Like, there's one where, like, he's touching the candy bar, and the more he touches it, the gas...
Definitely one of my favorite jokes.
Yo, I'm like, wow.
When he presses on the kelp bar, and when he presses it, the engine revs up.
Yup.
That whole entire bus sequence, definitely one of my favorite favorite jokes. He missed, like, 7 buses.
Oh, way more. And one of the bus drivers had to be the one that dropped him off because...
Had to be.
And he hated him from the jump because when they went to go up, they were hitting him with that balloon.
Oh, they were smacking the hell.
And then even when they got off the bus, he's like, sir, we have to get back home. Gives him this balloon. Oh, well. Drives off. Oh, well. He had one of the... Because just as a normal bus driver, like, your job, you're doing multiple loops in the same area. He knew what he was doing.
That's funny.
One of them had to have been like,
That's super funny.
But, yeah, there were just multiple... Like, SpongeBob was just utterly failing. My favorite one was when he had... and I always thought this as a kid. Like, he should have just did that joke, that stick again. Where he has a cardboard cutout of himself.
Yeah.
Sneaks behind. He turns into a bench. What else?
Or he just tries to just flat out hop in the bus.
Yup.
Him turning into a bench was pretty genius.
See, I thought the cardboard ones, but I'm actually...
That was genius too.
But I'm actually thinking this, like, if he stood in front of the bus, he just stood there.
Yeah, but John would have ran him over.
Would the bus have run him over?
That bus would have ran him over.
Yeah, yo, as he's getting hit. Oh, well.
He was missing so many buses.
Yup. It was crazy.
Another favorite joke is the classic interaction with the information guy.
Oh, man. Who took his candy bar?
He took his candy.
SpongeBob was about to get the bus. We were mentioning earlier the rev up scene. So he doesn't get the candy bar. This random fish walks by, looks in the vending machine, takes the candy bar, and dips.
Was it a fish? I don't know.
Whatever it was. A Cyclops looking.
What that thing was. It had one eye.
Yup.
And it had clothes on.
It did. And it was the bus. It was the guy working at the bus driver station.
The information guy.
I can't understand your accent.
Oh, the next but leave
To
in 15
bikini.
seconds.
Oh yeah. Oh, why did you say so? Nest Bucks leaves in 10 seconds.
Let's go.
Oh, that was the last one till morning. Sorry, kid. Like
right, like bro, you are not helping me.
Terrible. There was one fish that was in rock bottom that helped him, and he actually spoke normal.
Only one.
He spoke normal.
The only one who helped.
And then, thank you. You're welcome.
He said you're welcome, like flat out.
Yup.
Like a good neighbor.
You know, I think. All right. Well, what would you change? Because
I wouldn't change anything. Actually, I probably would have changed like at the end he finally catches the bus.
okay.
No, I just have questions like why would the bus drivers not stop?
Stop. They just
And
ate
it-
SpongeBob.
And it just makes me. Again, what were the creatures in the train station? The bus station. And yeah, I wanted more of Rock Bottom after that episode, and it never got it.
So apparently in the pipeline, and I only know this because I was editing this or getting the screenshots for the title card, they do go back to Rock Bottom later on in the series, and I'm really tempted to
I hope it's good.
But I was actually
I hope they made it good.
see, and that's what I was thinking. Like, my thing that I would change. I wish that we saw, like to your point, more of Rock Bottom, but to tie it into the story. And again, another fossil artifact that probably doesn't exist anymore. Why didn't SpongeBob find a payphone and call like his grandma or his parents? Like, hey, I'm in Rock Bottom. Come get me. Because you can't trust Squidward.
Would have made sense.
Or, Mr. Krabs, you got to pick me up from Rock Bottom. Why would I do that, boy? Because if you don't, I won't be able to work for you. Oh. Like something like call or Sandy.
I'm not really mad at how it ended, but I just wish they would have gave me a little bit more of like
Rock Bottom.
Like what is Rock Bottom to Bikini Bottom? You know what I mean? Like what? Like I would like to know what do the fish of Rock Bottom think about the ones who live in Bikini Bottom and vice versa? What do their houses look like? Why is there just only this one bus that goes? Plenty of buses that come, but where are they going? Like, do they ever come up to Bikini Bottom?
Well, they have to get back to the station. I'm
talking about the people.
There's a dark theory. I feel like when you're going down to Rock Bottom, you hear the Weekend low life. Yo. I'm doing it for them. Like, I'm telling you, the waste of Bikini Bottom, it just makes sense, like, why nobody would talk about it. Because even in the episodes, they never talk about Rock Bottom.
Yeah, and truthfully, I wonder, they gotta know what goes down there.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They're just like, do they even see? Aside from the buses, if they would have just fell down there, then that would have even made it better because it's like we don't even know where we're at.
Right.
Like we have no idea where we're at. Well, of course, SpongeBob did it, but
I just thought of it. Maybe it's an insult in Bikini Bottom. Like maybe one day,
down there.
Yeah, like maybe one day it's like Mr. Krabs like. Plankton, you're so disgraceful. I wish you lived in Rock Bottom. Mr. Krabs, what did you say? That's low. Patrick, Plankton's over here crying like that was the most hurtful thing ever.
Oh my goodness. Or they would just they tie him up and they just drop him down there. The town finally got fed up with him and they just dropped him down there.
Yup.
Ooh, that would have been a fire episode. And then Plankton he becomes friends with the people at Rock Bottom. That would have been a fire episode.
Or, you know what? So this is a breaking fourth wall hot take.
Okay.
So back in the day when they were doing the concept of SpongeBob, and you know how many shows do this. I think the most notorious one is Hey Arnold with like him visiting his cousin. But what if in Rock Bottom there's a doppelganger SpongeBob and his name is Sponge Boy? And, like, if you look at the original design for, like, what Sponge Boy was before it became SpongeBob, look it up on Google. Like, it literally, it's like an actual sponge. But it's like, do, like, an old concept design of what SpongeBob used to look like and be like, hey, this is Rock Bottom's version of SpongeBob. That would have been a cool little Easter egg where it's like, yeah, all right.
Oh, okay.
You see what I mean now?
Yeah.
So it's like there's SpongeBob in Bikini Bottom, but in Rock Bottom there's...
They would have to... Nah. They couldn't do that. Because it still looks too nice.
Make him look evil.
See, that's where I think you introduce Doodlebob.
Yup.
And then the episode where he actually comes, he came up from Rock Bottom. Oh my God.
Or if Doodlebob ever comes back, it's like he moves to Rock Bottom. Howdy, boy. Imagine the fish being like, if you're gonna be here, you gotta speak our language. It's like, what are you speaking? Like, yo, you learn quickly, like.
Two languages that nobody speaks.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yo.
Oh no, that's an episode. Lord, that's an episode I cannot wait for.
I think that also makes my. It's fighting for this. It's for sure in like my.
That's top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Doodlebob is
top 5. I don't know if maybe top 3. We'll see. But this one. Hands down a classic, and then as for Change, got that.
What are you saying? Meme-worthy moment.
For sure.
There's a few.
Advanced Darkness.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
And I'll set up so basically, and again, another proof to like Glove World sucks. Like they have nasty candy that tastes like gloves that like SpongeBob bought and spit out.
Glove candy.
Glove flavored. Ugh. And then he has his flashlight. Where it dies the quickest death. Like it literally turned on.
You remember them? You remember them flashlights from Disneyland? Them jaws did not
that last.
Up. Them jaws did not hold up.
Listen, I feel like this is when you know you're bad. If you can get a flashlight from the dollar store with dollar store batteries that expired a year ago, last longer than this glove flashlight, that's when you know you're bad. Like, this thing had a life of like, this is what it looks like. It's the store model. Up dead.
He said, oh no.
This flashlight is the juicy fruit of lights. It's the juicy fruit of flashlights. Like, this thing was like, wow, it's over.
Is crazy.
It's over. Yo.
This is regular darkness.
This is advanced darkness. And he's just in SpongeBob's in pitch black dark, camera zooms in, and this is advanced darkness.
Darkness is so funny.
Yeah, that for sure be worthy. What's yours?
Yeah, I put the same thing.
All right.
Because it was either going to be that or just how the Rock Bottom people speak.
Yeah.
Or, just him trying to get to the bus. The kelp episode. Or the kelp part is so funny to me.
Oh, kelp nougat awesome. Crunch. Yup.
He's like,
yo, he took it. I still can't get over that. Like, it's so crazy. The bus was able to do this to SpongeBob.
I feel like it was on him. I feel like it may have been the same bus.
Like, there's no amount of human complaining that would, like, save this. Like, it's just like, yeah, like, you fudged it up. Like, yeah. Any final thoughts?
Nah, man, this is a great episode, man.
Yep.
I just wanted more of it. I wish we would have got more of it.
I'm telling you, that's why. Hands down. I'm telling you, this is creeping in for that number one spot.
It could have been his own movie.
A whole movie?
You just find a character to follow and it's his own.
Oh, like that, yeah. But when we get to the SpongeBob movie, they do go to like, I forget the name of it, but they go to a Rock Bottom-esque place. So,
yeah.
All right. Then that can go. I'm telling you, I'm coming for that number one spot. All right.
Scheme.
Yo. These ludicrous thoughts on here. It's nonsense. Anyway, so until next time, this is Jared.
His kills.
Another episode of Bikini Bottom Banter in the bag.
Thanks for tuning in to another fantastic episode of Bikini Bottom Banter. Don't forget to follow Bikini Bottom Banter on TikTok and Instagram for even more content. Subscribe to them on YouTube and Anchor, plus turn on bell notifications to be updated on their latest episode. And if you've got your own jellyfishing stories or favorite Spongebob moments, remember to share them with us. You might just hear them on our next episode. So until then, stay bubbly, keep smiling, and remember, subscribe to Bikini Bottom Banter to know all the under the sea.